Hi guys, welcome back to Nostalgic Sensation. Vivian here. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Feel free to join us on this train down memory lane. As you all know, Nostalgic Sensation is dedicated to my learning journey because I'm a very curious person, curious about what the generations before us was like, what things were like, what music was like, what movies were like, etc. And so this channel is basically dedicated to me, a Gen Z who is trying to know what things were like in the days of the Gen X's, the baby bloomers and the likes. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a heads up because I'm guessing some people are new, some people aren't. For the people who are new, that is what Nostalgic Sensation is dedicated to. And my learning experience could be your nostalgia depending on what generation you are. Today I'm going to be reacting to Timeline 1990, everything that happened in the year 1990. And the year 1990 was 10 years before I was born, because I was born in 2000. A proper Gen Z. Yeah. Without further ado, let's dive right into today's video. Please do not forget to support the channel by leaving a thumbs up, subscribing, letting me know what you think about today's video in the comment section. So let's get into it, guys.
Come on, Uncle Phil, this is the 90s, man.
Man, it's the 90s. It's hammer time.
This is the 90s, the 1990s in point of fact.
Does your girlfriend have a girlfriend?
Hey, it's the 90s.
The 1990s. This decade would be all that and a bag of chips.
We're not talking brain cells here. We're talking taste buds.
Where the planet would see the rise of the World Wide Web.
Plane tickets are ordered. Now, let's look up dinosaurs.
Civil unrest in the States, and a hairstyle called the Rachel dominate the landscape. Today, we're going to give you the 411 about the news, culture, sports, and entertainment, and all that was weird in the 90s.
Don't touch that dial.
This is Timeline. Hang on to your plaid, because we're starting at the beginning with the year 1990. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel and let us know in the comments below what your favorite 90s expression was. Okay, baby, let's go back.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm dying for a Pepsi.
Coming out of the 80s, the world was changing. Communism was crumbling, the Cold War was thawing, and materialism had taken root in our culture. Moving into the 90s, how would this decade be defined? In the year ahead, we would see one of the biggest upsets in sports history, a whale of a good time, and a stage being set for war.
5 months ago, Saddam Hussein started this cruel war against Kuwait. Tonight, the battle has been joined.
This is 1990.
Aren't you going to say hello?
The year started off great for David N. Dinkins, who became the first black mayor of New York City, who was sworn in on January 1st. Dinkins' tenure, however, was marred with unparalleled levels of crime and a massive budget deficit. Most commonly, he's remembered for failing to respond to the race riot in August of 1991, now dubbed the Crown Heights crisis. At the time, tensions were high between blacks and Jews in Brooklyn. A brutal attack on Orthodox Jews sparked a full-blown riot. 2 days later, after holding up in the Vatican Embassy in Panama City for 10 days, dictator Manuel Noriega surrendered to the United States. American forces surrounded the location, blasted music, and flew helicopters overhead. Eventually, the U.S. and the Vatican reached an agreement, and Noriega surrendered. Coming back to the States, we go to Washington, D.C., where Mayor Marion Barry was arrested during an FBI sting operation and caught smoking the crack on January 18th. In a surprising twist, after serving his 6-month sentence, Barry was re-elected mayor, serving from 1995 to 99.
Damn mayor on crack.
In late January, we head to the New Orleans Superdome, where during Super Bowl 24, the San Francisco 49ers demolished Mule-Mouth John Elway and the Denver Broncos 55-10. Quarterback Joe Montana won his 3rd Super Bowl MVP. 3 days later, the Soviet Union saw its first McDonald's restaurant open in Moscow. Those golden arches attracted long lines of hungry Russians, who waited as long as 6 hours for 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, plus fries and a Coke.
I think the reaction from the Soviets is going to be exceptional. I think they're going to just say,
Thank you. Thanks, McDonald's. Thanks for coming here.
One journalist noted the level of Russian enthusiasm was the expression of America's rationalism and pragmatism toward food. That's one way of looking at it.
McDonald's, food, folks, and fun.
On February 11th, the leader of the movement to end South African apartheid, Nelson Mandela, was released from prison after spending 27 years incarcerated.
I tell you, feeling the thrill of just realizing that he's going to be out.
I feel free today. It's going to change the country a lot.
Mandela had been sent to prison on trumped-up charges of treason and sabotage. Flash forward 4 years, where on May 10th, Mandela would be elected as president of South Africa and serve until 1999.
The moment to bridge the chasms that divide us has come.
Back to 1990, and we go to the Tokyo Dome in Japan, where on the same day as Mandela's release, the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson, was defeated. Iron Mike was knocked down and out by the 42-1 underdog Buster Douglas in the 10th round of the bout. The next day, on February 12th, rapper, dancer, and iconic Genie Pants wearer MC Hammer released his album, Please Hammer, Don't Hurt 'Em. The album stayed on the Billboard 200 for 21 weeks straight and propelled MC into superstardom thanks to his juggernaut single, You Can't Touch This. Hammer became so popular that a year and a half later he got his very own cartoon, Hammerman, which debuted on September 7th, 1991. Your very own cartoon. Now that's making it.
It's hammer time.
Back to 1990, we go to the courts, where on February 27th, the case of Washington versus Harper saw an inmate in Washington state sue the prison system for involuntary medication, specifically around the inmate's antipsychotic medication. The court found that Harper was a danger to either himself or his fellow inmates, and the prison was well within its rights to administer antipsychotic medicine against the will of the individual involved.
Taking Burger King by storm. You can get one of your favorite heroes in a half shell every time you buy a Kids Club meal. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle badges. For a limited time. Only at Burger King.
Cowabunga, dude.
Sir, we have been sabotaged.
I'm telling you, he wants to defect.
Let's shake the man loose.
Right full rudder. Cancel on Crazy Island.
Sean Connery, Alec Baldwin, The Hunt for Red October.
This is no April Fool's joke, but after a 9-year stagnation, the federal minimum wage was increased on April 1st, going from $3.35 to a whopping $3.80.
From what Mindy is holding, we found what we were looking for, being fans of Twin Peaks.
Damn good coffee. And hot. Hello! I was wondering if I might trouble you for a cup of strong black coffee.
They got a cherry pie there that'll kill you.
On April 10th, animal rights activists had a win when they successfully convinced canned tuna brands not to buy fish caught from companies that used nets which harmed dolphins. The turning point was when Heinz, who was the globe's foremost tuna supplier, decided to stop buying any tuna caught using purse fishing net methods.
Just about everything you see in here is a potential hazard. Let me show you something. Let's just say you're changing the water in this here fish tank. And you accidentally fill it with gasoline, like so. The janitor comes in, there's a power outage, he lights himself a match, and... oh! He's cooking fish sticks!
In late April, the Hubble telescope was launched into space aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery. After its launch, it was discovered that the telescope's primary mirror had an aberration that affected its ability to produce clear and accurate images, making the poor Hubble a late-night talk show punchline.
Have you heard about the problems with the Hubble Space Telescope? They call the NASA official repairman to fix it. And he said he'll be up there sometime in the 21st century between noon and 5.
Since being fixed, the Hubble has helped revolutionize astronomy, giving in-depth looks at distant stars, planets, and galaxies, and giving scientists a better understanding of black holes. Some sad news as we head into mid-May. The man behind the Muppets, Jim Henson, died at the age of 53.
He's taught me so much just by being the person who he is.
Henson single-handedly ushered in a new golden age of puppets, creating many of his iconic characters on Sam and Friends in 1955, which would then later be reborn as The Muppet Show, almost 20 years later. Besides being the hand behind Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy, Henson also helped create puppets for The Dark Crystal, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Farscape, and Labyrinth. On the same day, beloved Rat Pack member Sammy Davis Jr. passed away. The actor, singer, and comedian died while heavily in debt to the IRS. His estate was divided up and had various legal battles surrounding it, even after the death of his wife, who passed in 2009. A little-known fact about Sammy was that towards the back half of his life, he converted from Judaism to Satanism. The Mr. Bojangles crooner hosted many interesting parties, satanic rituals, and pagan sacrifices. Sticking with the music, Madonna's Vogue topped the charts by reaching #1 on the US Hot 100 on May 19th and stayed there for 3 consecutive weeks. The music video for Vogue was directed by a then-budding David Fincher, who we may hear from later on in the decade.
What's in 1995? What's in 1995?
In late May, Colombian elections were marred by violent protests and riots after Cesar Gaviria won the presidency. Luis Carlos Galán, the Colombian presidential candidate, had been shot and killed while campaigning south of Bogotá. He was so far ahead in the polls for the presidential elections that he was virtually assured of victory. His campaign manager, Cesar Gaviria, ran in his place after the attack and was elected president. Immediately after Galán's assassination, the president at the time, Virgilio Barco, retaliated by reinstating extraditions.
Have you brought any fruits or vegetables onto the planet?
2 weeks.
Excuse me? Catch!
Get ready for a surprise!
A notable first, the Thanatron, the machine Jack Kevorkian used for assisted suicides, was used for the first time on June 4th. Janet Adkins of Portland, Oregon, became the first person to use the Thanatron.
Her decision that had been made some time ago, the boys were all familiar with it, and we all knew what she wanted to do.
Kevorkian and the Thanatron would eventually be enlisted by 129 other people to end their own lives. 6 days later, federal district judge Jose Gonzalez ruled that Two Live Crew's album, As Nasty as They Wanna Be, was obscene, and the album was ruled illegal to perform in multiple Florida counties. With hits like Me So Horny and Dirty Nursery Rhymes, the group quickly gained nationwide recognition for their profanity and explicit lyrics. Crew's Fresh Kid Ice and Amazing V were arrested by the police during a performance at, of all places, a local Florida strip club after the ruling. The case was taken to trial, where the crew would eventually be acquitted. Two Live Crew walked, so Megan Thee Stallion could run. Sticking with the justice system, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld by a 6-3 vote police DUI checkpoints on June 14th. In the decision, written by Chief Justice William Rehnquist, the court rejected assertions that DUI checkpoints violated the Fourth Amendment protection against unreasonable search and seizure.
Daddy, I can do it.
What's a meal I hate to miss?
Kibbles and bits and bits and bits.
Variety I must insist.
Kibbles and bits and bits and bits.
Crunchy,
Chewy,
ballin',
chow down. Kibbles and bits and bits and bits.
We now go to the Middle East, where on June 21st, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake devastated Iran. An estimated 50,000 Iranians perished, and over 400,000 people were left homeless from the quake, which spanned from 7.3 to 7.7 on the Richter scale. Heading into July, we go to Italy. Buongiorno. Where West Germany, yes, West Germany was still around at the time, won the FIFA World Cup, defeating Argentina 1-0. This was the third World Cup title for West Germany.
You ain't got a body no more, son. It's all up here now. You want to move something, you got to move it with your mind. I did it. Way to go.
The month of August would start off a touch fresher, with the city of San Luis Obispo, California, adopting the first legislation to ban smoking in bars. Tobacco giant R.J. Reynolds fumigated local residents with pamphlets urging them to call their council members, but to no avail. By July of 2018, nearly every state adopted similar laws, with only 12 states: Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Texas, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming, who still live in flavor country. 6 days later, after invading Kuwait, the Iraqi government proclaimed that they had annexed the country. In a statement issued from Saddam Hussein's ruling council, they insisted their lack of fear from American military forces, despite the annexation, proclaiming, "All the fleets and squadrons of aircraft will not shake a single palm frond in Iraq." We'll see how well that statement holds going into 1991.
Clear! No, wait!
Oh my God.
We fucking got him! Come on, Nelson, pick up the beat.
Easy, easy, easy.
Nelson, pick up the beat, pick up the beat, pick up the beat. Pray for you!
What's up, Will? Oh, what happened to your Whitney Houston cutout?
He fell apart in the shower.
On September 14th, Seattle Mariners Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. made history by becoming the first father-son duo to hit back-to-back home runs against the California Angels.
And he hits one well to left center field. Back-to-back home runs.
So you got a flat? What the fuck? You better pull over and see.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
In late September, East and West Germany overwhelmingly voted in favor of reuniting the two countries, which had been separated since Germany's unconditional surrender in 1945. The measure passed with a vote of 442 in favor and 47 against.
Step out the pit, all you can do is put me on a little guilt
I can
trip.
explain that, all right?
Hey, I lent you my girlfriend. You made a move on her.
You made a move on Kelly?
Nothing happened. Then you send your little sex freak over to my house trying to look for some kind of handout.
It's temporary insanity, all right? I wasn't thinking with my head.
You weren't thinking at all.
Hold on a second. Let's back up to the part about the sex freak.
Humphrey the Humpback Whale may not be as popular as Free Willy, but on October 24th, he became a celebrity in his own right.
I saw his tail come up out of the water. It was right past the Golden Gate Bridge.
During his long seasonal migration from Mexico to Alaska, Humphrey decided to take a pit stop in the San Francisco Bay. Humphrey stayed for 3 days and then was lured back on his way by the Marine Mammal Center, who played the smooth, jazzy sounds of other humpback whales.
Red Lobster.
Tonight, 30 shrimp, just $8.95.
Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
And kids get shrimp, a complete meal, just $1.95.
We go to Saudi Arabia, where on November 6th, a group of women protesters drove through the streets of Riyadh as an act of defiance to the government ban on women driving cars. Unfortunately, this act of civil disobedience cost them deeply. The women were arrested, removed from their jobs, and banned from traveling. Subsequently, the Interior Minister, Prince Naif bin Abdulaziz, officially banned women from operating motorized vehicles. This stayed law until 2017, when King Salman announced an order allowing women to drive. Driver's licenses for women were issued the following year. In mid-November, Bret Easton Ellis's book, American Psycho, was supposed to be published by Simon & Schuster, but was pulled over aesthetic differences after a public outcry that the book was deemed too violent. The book would eventually be picked up by Vintage Books and would go on to sell over 1 million copies. Nearly 10 years later, the movie American Psycho, starring Christian Bale, made its debut.
Hey, Paul!
Speaking of psychos,
Kevin!
Home Alone.
I don't care if I have to get out on your runway and hitchhike. I am going to get home to my son. Yes!
Coming back to literature, a sad passing as acclaimed children's book author Roald Dahl died on November 23rd. Author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach, BFG, and countless others, Dahl's books worldwide have sold over 250 million copies. And fun fact, Roald was also the screenwriter of the James Bond film You Only Live Twice.
You dirty bird. How could you? Misery Chastain cannot be dead.
Misery Spirit is still alive.
I don't want her, Smith! I want her! And you murdered her!
In the landmark case of Cruzan versus Director, Missouri Department of Health, Nancy Beth Cruzan, who was in a persistent vegetative state, was being kept alive by a life support system. In a 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court allowed Nancy's parents the right to terminate the use of her feeding tubes that were administering her nutrition and hydration. Just 3 days before Christmas, Lech Walesa took the oath of office as Poland's first popularly elected president. Previous to Walesa, Ryszard Kaczorowski had ended his term by living in exile in London. Walesa, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, would go on to serve as president from 1990 to 1995. Just after Christmas, the U.S. Census was released, and America was getting pretty big, with a grand total of 249.6 million people. And that is how 1990 ended. 1999 was just days away, and America would see itself on the precipice of war. Racial tensions would boil over in the City of Angels, and we would find out what goes well with fava beans and a nice Chianti. But that is for next year. Coming soon, 1991.
Let me know how it turns out, guys.
So what do you think? What was your fondest memory of 1990? Let us know in the comments below.
Okay, I do not have any fond memory of 1990. I was born 10 years after, but it looks very eventful, and now I have a long list of movies I must see. I've seen Home Alone, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think the curator of that video should be given an award because it was very, very enjoyable and very entertaining, and I loved every single part of it. Very eye-opening. I feel like I have a lot more to say, but I can't remember most of the things I want to say, and I do not like speaking when the video is like going on because I like to watch and assimilate and take it in. Yeah, I typically wait till the end of the video to say the things on my mind, and then when the end of the video comes, most of the time I don't remember everything I wanted to say. But yeah, I didn't know McDonald's had been in existence this long, and I didn't know McDonald, what's her name? Oh my god, is it Madonna? Madonna. I didn't know Madonna has been singing this long. Is it Madonna or Lady Gaga? Oh my god, I always mistake Madonna and Lady Gaga, so please forgive me. I'm trying to remember. They showed her just now. Oh my god. Anyways, I really enjoyed today's. Oh god, I feel so horrible. I can't remember her name, but I really enjoyed today's video, and I hope you enjoyed it too. It was very insightful. Let me know what you think about today's video in the comment section. And let me know if you prefer living in the 2020s now, or you would like to go back to the 1990s if you could. It looks really beautiful. It looks very aesthetically pleasing, but there was more. I don't know. Do you think there was more unrest then than now? I can't really because the racial thing was stronger then. But yeah, I really enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to support the channel by leaving a thumbs up, subscribing, letting me know what you think about this video in the comment section, and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss my next video. Until next time, guys. Bye.